Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Firsta Belingga, with student numbers 2020, 2015, and 76. Today, I and my members would like to deliver our material in teaching and learning evaluation subject, taught by Dr. Annisa Astrid, ST, M.Pd, and the topic is terms in language evaluation. Before we start our presentation today, let me introduce our group members first. There are me, Firsta Belingga, and then two others are Anggi Try Oktaviana and Endri Efitri. Well, this is the table of contents. Okay, I will be the first presenter for today, so I would like to deliver my subtopic in terms in language evaluation. The first one is achievement test. As you can see in this slide, achievement tests are widely used throughout education as a method of assessing and comparing student performance. The test procedures are highly structured so that the testing process is the same for all students who take them. It is developed to measure skills and knowledge learned in a given grade level, usually through planned instruction, such as training or classroom instruction. Achievement tests are often contrasted with tests that measure aptitude, a more general and stable cognitive trait. Teachers evaluate students by observing them in the classroom, evaluating their day-to-day classwork, grading their homework assignments, and administrating unit tests. So, this classroom assessment show the teacher how well a student is mastering grade level learning goals and provide information to the teacher that can be used to improve instructions. There are two types of achievement tests. The first one is summative evaluation. This testing is done at the end of the instructional unit. The test score is seen as the summation of all knowledge learned during a particular subject unit. And the second one is formative evaluation. This testing occurs constantly with learning so that the teachers can evaluate the effectiveness of teaching methods along with the assessment of students' abilities. So, how to designing the achievement test? Here are 3 steps of designing the achievement test. The first step is identify what you want students to learn from a unit of instruction. Consider the relative importance of the objectives and include more questions about the most important learning objectives. And you should take the second step, determine which types of questions and what form of test to use. You are ready to begin the second step in constructing an effective achievement test. This step is writing the questions. And the last step is review the test. You will review the test, like are the instructions straightforward, or are the selected learning objectives represented in appropriate proportions, or are the questions carefully and clearly worded? This special care must be taken not to provide clues to the test-wise students, but poorly constructed questions may actually measure not knowledge but test-taking ability. Okay, that's all from me. This presentation will be continued by Endri Efitri. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Endri Efitri with name 2030-205100. I will explain about proficiency test. A proficiency test measures an individual's abilities and skills in a domain or subject to know how well he or she has learned, understood, and internalized the related concepts and principles. Such a test in language example might assess a student's skills in reading, writing, listening, and speaking or vocabulary. Similarly, a test in science may focus on assessing students' abilities to apply concepts and principles to analyze a given situation, solve a given problem, and conduct practical work efficiently. A test in mathematics might similarly assess problem-solving abilities and skill of mathematical thinking, mathematical reasoning, and procedural techniques followed by students. Thus, the proposed proficiency test will mainly focus on assessing students' abilities and skills to apply knowledge and understanding of any subject to new and unfamiliar everyday life situations.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Anggi Try Oktaviana and my student ID number is 2020-205089. Here I will explain about a diagnosis test. A diagnosis test is a test that helps the teacher and the learner identify problems that they have with the language. For example, at the start of the course, the teacher gives the learners a diagnosis test to see what areas of a language need to be in the syllabus. In the classroom, progress tests given during the course can also act a diagnosis test as they help the teacher and the learners identify what areas will be looked at next on the course. Diagnosis assessment in education. The purpose of diagnosis assessment is to help identify problems with a certain instruction style and provide insight into improvement that can be done in the quality of delivery. Diagnosis assessment in education help educators understand the students' strengths, weakness, knowledge level, and skill prior to beginning instruction. Diagnosis assessment example include pre-assessment tests that give you a snapshot or diagnose knowledge to screen students. Quick Here is a quick example of diagnosis assessment in different files. First is introductory physics, psychology, course with group work, graffiti, or fine arts. There is a advantage of diagnosis assessment in education. There are various advantages of different types of diagnosis assessment in education that help achieve the purpose of diagnosis assessment, which is to improve quality. They are usually informal and easy to use. They don't require high-level training and don't have standardized protocol to follow. Teachers can further refine or change their methods at any time. Such assessments show quick results once you are used to them. Instructors can easily share their learning with their peers. The next topic is progress test. Progress testing is a form of longitudinal examination which in principle sample at regular intervals from the complete domain of knowledge considered a requirement on completion of undergraduate program. Over the course of program, students improve their score on the test, enabling them as well as staff to monitor their progress. Why progress testing? Because progress testing provides a rich source of information, fosters knowledge retention, remove the need for rigid examination, allow early detection of a high bring stability in assessment producer, and the last is provide excellent benchmarking opportunities. Well, that's all. This is all from me about diagnosis test and progress test. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alright, I will continue my presentation in subtopic 5, testing validity. So, the validity of an assessment tool is the degree to which it measures for what it is designed to measure. For example, if a test is designed to measure the skill of addition of 3 digits in mathematics, but the problems are presented in difficult language, that is not according to the ability level of the students, then it may not measure the addition skill of 3 digits. Consequently, it will not be a valid test. Test validation is the process of accumulating evidence to support such inferences. And validity is the appropriateness of a particular uses of the test scores. The test validations is then the process of collecting evidence to justify the intended use of the scores. Overall, we can say that in terms of assessment, validity refers to the extent to which a test content is representative of the actual skills learned and whether the test can allow accurate conclusions concerning achievement. Well, there are methods of measuring validity. The first one is content validity. The evidence of the content validity is judgmental process that has systematic procedure which arrives at judgment. And the important components are the identifications of behavioral objectives and construction of table of specifications. Content validity evidence involves the degree to which the content of the test matches a content domain associated with the construct. For example, a test of the ability to add 2 numbers. You should include a range of combinations of digits, because a test with only 1 digit numbers or only even numbers would not have good coverage of the content domain. And the second one is construct validity. According to Howell 1992, construct validity is a test ability to measure factors which are relevant to the field of study. And construct validity refers to the extent to which operationalizations of a construct do actually measure what the theory says they do. For example, to what extent is an IQ questionnaire actually measuring intelligence? So, construct validity evidence involves the empirical and theoretical support for the interpretation of the construct. Well, there are different types of construct validity. The first one is convergent validity. It refers to the degree to which a measure is correlated with other measure that it is theoretically predicted to correlate with. For example, if scores on a specific English test are similar to students' scores on other English tests, the convergent validity is high because there is a positively correlation between the scores from similar tests of English. The second one is discriminant validity. It describes the degree to which the operationalization does not correlate with other operationalizations that it theoretically should not be correlated with. Or it occurs where constructs that are expected not to relate with each other. For example, if discriminant validity is high, scores on a test designed to assess students' skill in English should not be positively correlated with scores from tests designed to assess intelligence. Well, I think that's all. I hope you guys understand with my explanation. The next explanation will be continued by Endri. Time is yours.
Testing reliability. What does the term reliability mean? Reliability means trustworthy. A test score is called reliable when we have reason for believing the test score to be stable and objective. For example, if the same test is given to two classes and is marked by different teachers, even then it produces the similar results, it may be considered as reliable. Stability and trustworthiness depends upon the degree to which score is free of chance error. We must first build a conceptual bridge between the question asked by the individual and how reliability is measured scientifically. This bridge is not as simple as it might first appear. When a person thinks of reliability, many things might come into his mind. My friend is very reliable. My car is very reliable. My internet bill paying process is very reliable. My client's performance is very reliable, and so on. The characteristics being understood are the concepts such as consistency, dependability, predictability, variability, and etc. Note the implied reliability statements is the behavior, machine performance, data process, and work performance might sometimes not reliable. The question is how much the score of tests vary over different observations. Some definition of reliability. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, reliability is the extent to which an experiment, test, or measuring procedure yields the same result on repeated trials. And then, according to Hopkins and Ates, 2000, reliability is the consistency of observation yielded over repeated recording either for one subject or a set of subjects. Types of reliability. Reliability is one of the most important elements of test quality. It has to do with the consistency or reproducibility of an examiner's performance in the test. It's not possible to calculate reliability exactly. Instead, we have to estimate reliability, and this is always an imperfect attempt. Here, we introduce the measure reliability estimators and talk about the strengths and weaknesses. There are 6 general classes of reliability estimates, each of which estimates reliability in different ways. They are: first, inter-rater or inter-observer reliability, to assess the degree to which different raters or observers give consistent estimates of the same phenomenon. That is, if two teachers mark same test and the results are similar, so it indicates the inter-rater or inter-observer reliability. Second, test raters reliability, to assess the consistency of a measure from one time to another when a same test is administered twice and the result of both administration are similar. This constitutes the test rate's reliability. Students may remember and might be measured after the first administration creates a problem for test retest reliability. Third, parallel form reliability, to assess the consistency of the results of two tests constructed in the same way from the same content domain. Here, the test designer tries to develop two tests of the similar kinds, and after administration the results are similar, then it will indicate the parallel form reliability. Fourth, internal consistency reliability, to assess the consistency of results across items within a test. It is correlation of the individual items score with the entire test. 5. Split half reliability. To assess the consistency of results comparing two halves of single test. These halves might be even odd items in the single test. And 6. Richardson reliability. To assess the consistency of the results using all the possible split halves of a test. Reliability testing. Example, let's say you are a graphics designer, so you might need a PC to run for at least 7 until 8 hours per day with its full capability without crashing. Reliability testing is the process that can determine whether the PC you are about to purchase and work flawlessly for long hours or not. In testing, testers and developers test the reliability of an application or system as per several factors. For example, if the application can handle heavy user traffic and requests for several hours without crashing down or not. Backlash test. The concept of backlash effect. Backlash or washback refers to the influence or reaction of testing on teaching, including teaching and learning in the field of education. Here are several explanations for backlash in foreign educational circles. Prout-Romow believes that backlash is the direct or indirect influence of testing on teaching methods. MC Namara believes that the backlash effect of testing is the impact of testing on teaching. Later, British applied linguistics introduced the concept of backlash into the field of linguistics. Hughes defines backlash as the impact of language testing on teaching and learning, and points out the language testing can have good or bad effect on teaching and learning. Massix argues that backlash effect refers to the effect of testing on teacher and student engaged in language teaching to varying degrees to do things they did not need to do, which should be interpreted as backlash effect. On the other hand, Wall and Anderson also point out that test developers and candidates not only believe that language testing has an important impact on teaching and learning, but also investigates the impact of specific areas such as teaching content, teaching methods, assessment methods, and etc. Positive and negative direction in prediction. Clearly, backlash has the potential to affect not only individuals, but also the entire education system and all aspects that testers need to investigate. Therefore, the effect of backlash is much more complex than that of simple teaching tests. Positive and negative backlash or washback. Washback effect in testing is typically seen as either negative or positive, sometimes referred to as wash forward. Washback might be considered harmful to more fluid approaches in language education where definition of language ability might be limited. However, it might be considered beneficial when good teaching practice results. Washback can also be positive or negative in that it either maintains or hinders the accomplishment of educational goals. In positive washback, teaching the curriculum becomes the same as teaching to a specific test, and the negative washback occurs in situations where there might be a mismatch between the stated goals of instruction and the focus of assessment. It might lead to the abandonment of instructional goals in favor of test preparation. Example backlash test. If students are working towards an exam where all of the test items focus on grammatical accuracy, the teacher, possibly at the student's instigation, might spend much of the preceding course focusing on this area and possibly neglecting other areas that they will need outside their course, such as spoken fluency or listening. Thus, the test would have negative backwards. It pushes the teacher into teaching for the test, rather than providing a balanced course which dealt with all the students' need and developed other areas of competence than just grammatical knowledge. Okay, thank you. That's all from me.
Alright, the whole presentation has come to an end. We hope that you guys understand clearly about this topic today. We would like to say sorry for all the mistakes during our presentation, and to Allah we are asked for forgiveness. Thank you for watching and thank you for your great attention. Finally, I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.